One of the most exciting things to go through is building a home, but it could also be quite terrifying. Well, today we're here to help you out with 8 tips for designing your dream home. So welcome to the studio and let's get started. One of the first steps that we go through at the firm is understanding all the parameters that are entailed in the project. Tip number 1 is to gather as much information as possible. This information is related to both the site and to the program. The site's pretty obvious. We need to know the size and shape of the lot. We also need to know what zoning regulations are going to be bestowed on it. With that said, you need to do a little bit of research on the zoning and you need to get a survey. The other big piece of information that will need to be gathered is related to the program. This is a little bit easier because really it's just an evaluation of you and what you're looking for. If you're building your home, an evaluation of your lifestyle is going to be the most important thing that you can do. Understanding how you're going to use the home in the future is critical to the planning stage. Tip number 2 in designing your home is don't focus on style. Style is kind of a taboo amongst architects because it doesn't really mean a whole lot. It's okay to gather inspiration from style, but focusing in on one style or trying to create consistency with imagery is really not that important. Style is based off something from the past, of past cultures, past lifestyles, and it's really irrelevant when it comes to the conversation about you, your site, and your home. Ultimately, most people enjoy a lot of different things. They like a lot of different looks, and it's okay to put a collage of different things together for your architect to sift through. To be honest, I would prefer to have as much diversity in the imagery as possible because it gives me ammunition when I go into the design process to be able to pull from different images and be able to solve different problems. Tip number 3 is consider the context. Knowing whether we need to create privacy from a busy road or from a neighbor, or take advantage of certain views, it's really important to look at the context around the home. There's a lot of missed opportunities if you're not looking at context. To avoid those missed opportunities, zoom out, think outside the box, or in this case, think outside of your site. Sometimes it's important to zoom out to the size of the city or to the size of at least the neighborhood to understand if there's any type of attributes we can pull from the area around it. If there's a tip on this list that is superior above the rest, it's this one. Tip number 4 is think about the experience. Homes are based off place, they're not objects. When we're designing a home, we are basing it off of the location, we're basing it off the context, and we're basing it off the specific experiences that you're gonna have as the user. What happens when you approach the home? What do you see? What do you see when you walk through the front door? What is it like to have family over for Thanksgiving? These different experiences that you're trying to understand or you're trying to connect with are one of the things that make architecture what it is. Beyond function, the experience of the homeowner is the life force behind the architecture. They say the thing that makes a house a home is to be lived in. Well, let's go ahead and change that and start to design for it. Thinking through those experiences should be able to inform the material, the layout, and the overall shape of the house. Do you want the home to feel warm and cozy? Perhaps looking at darker colors and wood or natural materials is going to be more suited to make that happen. If you're looking for a wow factor or a sense of grandeur, perhaps you're looking at bigger, taller spaces with brighter colors and high sheen materials like tile or glass. One of the main goals with thinking through the experiences is to eliminate as many arbitrary decisions as possible. Making things seem as if they fit or they are intentional bring a certain level of luxury and design quality at little to no cost. In almost every case in architecture, you're determining the layout, function, position, material, and form of the building based upon the experiences that you're trying to make. Tip number 5 is to start broad. Architects are big thinkers. We're trained to think very broadly and to see the forest for the trees. It's important to have that mindset when going into a design or when critiquing an architect. In today's society, it's known that having a detail-oriented mindset is very important. Not in this case. Having an understanding of a broad view early on and zooming into layers of detail is very important. You don't want to be making detailed decisions before large decisions like layout and orientation are solved. A lot of people get into the mindset of we need to design this space and we need to design that space and then try to combine them together. Designing each puzzle piece separately and then trying to create a holistic picture is almost impossible to do. Tip number 6 is think long term. A lot of times in the office we're having conversations about what it's going to be like to live in the house long term. Looking to things like ADA regulation or the accessibility chapters of the building code, having things like larger door openings or maneuver clearances are luxuries that you can't really get once you've built the house. A common topic of conversation is putting the primary bedroom and the living dining kitchen on the same level as the street and the garage. This is of course to avoid any stairs down the road. Putting some of those spaces on the upper floors makes more sense because of other attributes. Then things like elevators probably need to be considered. Nevertheless, always think about the experiences that you're going to have now and the experiences that you're going to have in the future. Number 7 is ask for visuals. With the advancement of today's software, AutoCAD is far in our past. Today we have software like Revit and building information models that give us three-dimensional walkthroughs of your project. Once the building model has been created, it's pretty easy to go in and capture as many images as possible. Don't be afraid to ask your architect for as many pictures as you want because chances are they have a model that they can easily take pictures of. Other capabilities in the software today include photorealistic renderings and VR. We're able to actually walk our clients through the project long before a nail is even driven. Having a strong set of visuals is only going to help you make better decisions moving forward. Tip number 8 is developing a great team. I would be lying if I said this is going to be easy. It's not. You need a great team behind you, both on the design side and on the construction side. Most of the times, teams are split into 3 major categories: the owner's team, the contractor's team, and the architecture team. Having a good architect, having a good contractor, having a good surveyor, interior designer, realtor, all these people are worth their weight in gold when it comes to getting your project done. A successful project truly does take a village. Do your research to try to find the best team members possible. Having great relationships is one of the most important things that you can do during a construction project. Having these great relationships is going to avoid finger pointing if something goes wrong. More importantly, they're going to be able to help you solve problems as they come up. Problems will arise. Things will come up during the construction process. Having a great team to help you solve those problems is absolutely crucial. Here at C.w. Architects, we enjoy helping people think through their design and construction project. I hope these 8 tips were helpful to you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.